I'm Nabil Biagio. Israel's military has announced it's pulling thousands of soldiers out of southern Gaza, including Khan Yunis city, after months of fierce combat. Associated Press correspondent Charles Deladesma reports.
On Sunday, Israel's military announced it was drawing back forces from the 98th Paratroopers Division, who had been operating in the area of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. The Hamas stronghold has been the main focus of Israel's offensive in recent months. That brings Israeli troop levels in Gaza to some of the lowest levels since the war began, raising questions about plans for the war going forward, especially the fate of the southernmost Gaza city of Rafah. The prospect of an Israeli offensive has raised global alarm, including from top ally the US, which has demanded to see a credible plan to protect civilians. I'm Charles Deladesma.
The Trump administration said it raised $50.5 million in just one night at a fundraiser event hosted by billionaire investor John Paulson. AP correspondent Jackie Quinn has the details.
The $50.5 million raised by donors who attended the Saturday night soiree in Palm Beach break a record for the most collected at a single fundraising event. Donald Trump there with his wife Melania in Palm Beach, praising those who attended.
People are just wanting change. Rich people want it, poor people want it, everybody wants change. The country's really doing poorly. We're a laughing stock all over the world. We're going to get change very quickly.
The GOP says prior to this fundraiser, it collected nearly $66 million in March. The Democrats said they took in more than $90 million last month. I'm Jackie Quinn.
This is VOA News. Somalia has expelled Ethiopia's ambassador to the country over what it says was the continued violation of the country's sovereignty. This follows a memorandum of understanding signed between Ethiopia and the breakaway region of Somaliland. The accord grants Ethiopia access to the Red Sea. Somalia strongly condemned the agreement. The expulsion, analysts say, appears to increase the tension between Mogadishu and Addis Ababa. VOA's Peter Clody spoke with Information Minister Dawood Awais in Somalia.
After having seen the continued violation of Somali sovereignty by the Ethiopian government, the Somali government came to a conclusion that we have to take these decisions, and it was the only way to respond to those continued violations of sovereignty of Somalia by Ethiopia against Somalia. So we made to a conclusion that we have to close the two consulate offices of Ethiopia based in Hargeisa and Garowe, and also ordered the ambassador to go home for consultation.
Somalia's Information Minister Dawood Awais. Mexico's government has severed diplomatic ties with Ecuador after police broke into the Mexican embassy to arrest the former Ecuadorian vice president. VOA's Alexis Trop has more.
It was an extraordinary use of force that shocked and mystified regional leaders and diplomats. Ecuadorian police late Friday broke through the external doors of the embassy in the capital, Quito, to arrest Jorge Glass, who had been residing there since December. Glass sought political asylum at the embassy after being indicted on corruption charges. The raid prompted Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador to announce the breaking off of diplomatic relations with Ecuador on Friday evening, while his government's Foreign Relations Secretary said the move will be challenged at the World Court in The Hague. I'm Alexis Strope, VOA News.
Two ships have been targeted off Yemen, British maritime security firm Ambrey said on Sunday, raising to three the number of incidents reported in under 24 hours. The attacks were not immediately claimed, but they coincide with a campaign by Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis against ships the rebels say are linked to Israel amid the Gaza war. A top Iranian military advisor has warned Israel that none of its embassies are safe following a strike in Damascus last week that killed two elite Iranian generals. Iran blamed Israel. Regional tensions have threatened to draw the Middle East into a wider conflict as Israel's war against Hamas marks 6 months. For additional stories, 24 hours, visit our website voanews.com. In Washington, Nabil Biagio, VOA News.
Hello, this is Music Time in Africa on the Voice of America. I'm Heather Maxwell in Washington. It is great to have you on. Today I have two special guests, radio personalities Sheun Rave and John Tanza. Sheun is of Blast Urban 98.3, and he joins us by phone from Ibadan, Nigeria, to share trending music and related news from there. And John Tanza is a Voice of America radio program host and producer, and he joins me live in the studio to talk about the problematic national anthem in South Sudan. This all comes at the back half of the hour, and at the front, I have an awesome playlist, as usual. Billboard Hot 100, number 2 hit this week, not number 1. I'll explain why inside the show. It's also the first week of April, which means jam. That's Jazz Appreciation Month, JAM. Here in the United States, we celebrate that all month long, so I'll play one special African jazz number from 1967 to honor that, and that's the show. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Starting off in Nigeria, here's Small Singer with his 2023 hit, Jijo Poco. Small Singer. Money, they give me happiness. Oja, they give me joy. Ẹ̀kọ́ àti joy kó wá wẹ̀ mí pẹ̀lú ọṣẹ joy.